a couple of rad techs. I am so excited to be able to talk to y'all today about how to become a radiologic technologist. This is a live, so let's ask questions. I'm going to actually show you live on a computer screen how you can become a radiologic technologist who is employed in 2025. So some of you may be wondering, how in the world am I going to find this opportunity in 2025? I don't know where to look. I don't know what jobs I should look on. I'm gonna tell you, this is exactly how I would do it. If you're wondering, let's go ahead and get into it. I'm gonna show you all. I'm gonna open up. So for me, the way I got into radiology, we didn't have that many job boards. It was kind of who you know. You worked at the same place when you got out of school. I find that to be very similar today. So people are like, oh my goodness, what do I do when I get out? I don't want to stay at the same facility that I went to school at. If that's you, let me know in the comments. If that's something you feel. Um, Sorry, I'm playing around with some things. Didn't mean to hit green screen. Let me know if that's how you feel. If you're wondering, like, how do I get a job in this profession outside of the hospital where I worked at? Because what I find is sometimes you go to school in places and you work there and the people all know you and you're still looked at as a student. You don't really get to see different things as you move on in the profession, right? So you're wanting to look at opportunities outside of the profession, which is nothing is wrong with that. I think that's very smart that you do that because you're going to need to see things different than what you've seen in the last 2 years. So what I suggest that you do is you want to go ahead and try to get a PRN, maybe, even if it's just a PRN. Get a PRN to maybe a hospital that's not far, or an outpatient center, something where the people are different, the facility is different than what you're used to seeing. So that's what I would encourage you to do. I would definitely encourage you to look outside of what you're used to because you're going to kind of be able to think more independently when you work outside of, when you work outside of where you've gone to school. So I'm logging in here now. Um, let's see. I am logging in. We're going to log into, I'm trying to log in here to be able to see, and it's not giving me the code. I want to log into Indeed. How many of you, what is your job resource that you use? Is it Indeed? Is it ASRT? Job Bank? What are some of the job banks that you guys use to look for? Is it different recruiting? Do you use LinkedIn? I'm going to also show you LinkedIn. I'm going to take you through 3 that I find are very useful. If I can get into Indeed, I might not be able to do it on Indeed, but we're going to go live on here. So I'm going to flip this around for you so you can be able to see some of the jobs. So one of the resources that I think is very good to use is called the ASRT, but you have to be a member first. So one of the reasons I feel that it is good is because, let's flip this camera around. So I feel it's good because you get all of this stuff in the Career Center when you're a member of the ASRT. You get to look at careers. You get to plan your career. You get jobs from a job bank. You also get a salary estimator, which is member exclusive. So I'm not going to show you that. You got to be a member first. But you can search jobs. You can upload your resume and sign up for alerts. This is where some of the really, really good employers come. And sometimes what happens is when you sign up with recruiters online, like Indeed, ZipRecruiter, you do not know if they are actual recruiters, right? You don't know if you're just sending out your address, your phone number to just anybody. It's almost not safe. So you got to be careful what facility, what recruiters you're using, recruiting websites you're using. Now, I've gotten jobs off of Indeed, yes. So not all of them are bad or kind of scary, but So what I would tell you is make sure that you are using a reputable site. Make sure you're careful of the information that you are adding onto your resume. You don't always have to, I wouldn't put my address. That's just me. I wouldn't put my address on my resume. So if you have it, take it off. That's my advice. Nobody needs to know where you live. You'll do that when you fill out the application, right? That could be a way that they say, oh, well, this applicant lives too far. They don't know that's just the address you use. It may not be the address where you live. So you could not get a job offer because they discriminate against you because they feel like, oh, you're too far. Then maybe they've had a bad experience with someone who drove that far and never could get to work on time, and you get penalized for it. And so that's why I would say don't put your address on, and safety reasons. I would not use a phone number that you're not okay with anybody having. Nowadays, people spam you, things like that. So this is one of the things that I love on the ASRT website. So with the job bank that you can get, you can actually go here. It's updated information. You'll be able to look here, career planning portal. It helps you write a resume. You can get coaching, tips on job interviewing, all kind of things that are so good. These are excellent. Featured jobs. So here, sometimes you struggle with knowing, are these jobs real jobs? Yes, they are. They've got them all over, from the South in Alabama to Florida to Nevada to Vermont to California. And you have you have different types of jobs. You just don't see radiologic technologists. You see a radiologic technologist educator. You see mammo technologists, you radiation therapists. You have all types of different jobs here. So this opens up for 2025. If you are a radiologic technology student and you're looking to advance yourself in a profession, this kind of gives you an idea of the different jobs that are out there. Now, some of these employers, yes, are going to be preferred, but I'm going to say this is my go-to website because you know it is reputable. You know these are real jobs. These are real recruiters, not going to sell your information or just getting your information. So you have to be careful on some of these sites. This is great. So you've got Washington State. We're going to look at this CT job. Wait, I'm going to go back to this one. Look at this sign-on bonus, y'all. Hold on. Let's go back to this. And it looks like it's a clinic, so it's not a hospital. $5,000 sign-on bonus. When people tell you that there's no money in taking x-rays and everybody is running over to MRI because it's social media trendy, do not forget about the jobs. This is in Vail, Colorado. Look, if you like to ski, this is right up your alley. But, you know, there are jobs everywhere. But I'm just searching what are their top jobs. You've got Vail, Colorado at a clinic. So this is going to be pretty decent. And then you have a $5,000 sign-on bonus. This is amazing. Oh, my goodness. This is great. Now, it does have stipulations. This $35 to $38 an hour, which I don't know the cost of living in Vail, so you have to kind of figure that in, but you have to get the terms of this sign-on bonus. This is a full-time job, benefits. You have to figure out what benefits that you get, and they have flexibility around the schedule. 0 call, no weekends, no holiday. Like, I know people that would take lower pay so they do not have to work holidays. How many of you would take lower pay so you don't have to work holidays or you're on call? Especially when you live in a city like Vail, where there's so much to do and you love to ski. They would like someone to join their team. These are some of the day-to-day duties or responsibilities that you would have to do right here, which are pretty basic when it comes to radiologic technologists. Now, what are the requirements, minimal qualifications are going to be? Of course, you have to attend and graduate from an ARRT approved curriculum. You have to have that certification. You have to know your anatomy, pay attention to detail, ability to work independently, and part of a team. This is pretty good, but employer benefits are pretty standard. They have $1,000 wellness bonus. That's pretty good. Tuition and education reimbursement. Why is that important? That's important, you guys, because when you choose to take a job, it's not always about the hourly. I would encourage you to look at, if you're looking to advance your education, does this employer pay for that? And if so, how much? And they also have discretionary bonus pay, eligibility based on position. That's pretty cool. I would love to know. You want to ask those questions like who gets a bonus? Even if you don't see it here, you should always ask, do you guys offer bonuses? They have employer assistance programs by licensed professionals. So if you need some help, that's pretty cool. Leave benefits, health and dental, time off, 7 paid holidays annually, 155 hours of PTO within the first year. Wow, that's pretty decent. 1 hour per 30 hours worked, up to 45 hours per year. That's pretty cool. You can apply on this page. Salary range is just what it is. It's a range. Can you ask for more? Of course. Of course you can. Everything is negotiable, but these are actual jobs, y'all. I'm just showing you real jobs where from a reputable place. This is a heart and vascular center in Alabama. Again, private practice sector. Your pay is going to be less, and you're going to work a 4-day work week, 10-hour shifts. That's a 3-day weekend. That is pretty cool. This is your responsibilities. So you're basically preparing, probably doing C-arm stuff, working in vascular work, which if you don't have that experience, this would be great experience to get in. Not sure if they take any call, but it says 4 10-hour shifts. So let's see, Monday through Thursday, no weekends, great benefits package. This is pretty good. This is pretty good. Monday through Thursday. Oh my goodness. Birmingham. I don't know much about Alabama, but hey, 410s, outpatient, you can't beat that. So if you're looking for reputable places to find job, oh my, here's another one. I gotta pull this up because people say that there is no money in doing diagnostic x-ray. I have seen more sign-on bonuses to diagnostic x-ray, and you know why I think that is? This is why I think it is, because again, everybody is running over to MRI. They want to do all the specialties because in their mind, they have been told that you make more money not doing diagnostic x-ray. In my 20 plus years of doing this, you know what I've seen? I have seen over and over this happen. Just what I just showed you. This happens all the time. Everybody runs to the other seemingly more professional, high-end parts of medical imaging, not realizing that when everybody runs over there, the prices go down, the salaries go down, the flexibility and shift go down. And what happens to diagnostic x-ray, for those who just sit back and watch and wait, is their demand goes up. During the pandemic, everybody was running over to MRI at the height of 2020, 2022. Everybody's running the MRI. You know what? They were offering radiology technologists $70 an hour, y'all. $70 an hour to shoot x-rays, to do diagnostic x-ray of all types, especially in the afternoons and the evenings, second and third shift, weekends. They couldn't get anybody because everybody was looking down on diagnostic x-ray. I'm going to tell you, it is one of the biggest jokes that happens in this profession, and I keep seeing it happen. It also affected CT. CT techs now, I see a lot of sign-on bonuses, and the hourly to be a CT technologist is through the roof. It's much higher than it was because everybody's running over to MRI. Everybody thinks, let me go do this over here. It's much easier. And I'm just here to tell you, you're not always making more money by having a specialty. Do I think you shouldn't get the specialty? No, I definitely think you should know how to do multiple things in medical imaging. But do you not think that I'm looking at that $20,000 sign-on bonus? Because I have a license to do it. I can go back and do it because I have that certification. I have that experience. That's what I went to school for. And I keep my license up. I keep my experience up. So I encourage you all, do not close your mind to going back to diagnostic. Be flexible. This is how you make your money, is by being flexible that, okay, well, look, if they're paying $20,000 sign-on bonus, I can maybe negotiate that and do maybe a year for $10,000. $10,000, 1 year would go by so fast, and negotiate your hourly. cannot beat that. I'm telling you. This is just something I think you should be strategic when searching for jobs. It's not always about the hourly. When you get multiple certifications, then you can go and look for jobs and say, well, I can do CT, I can do MRI, and I can do X-ray. But everybody's running over to MRI, and I wouldn't be making as much as I used to make. But over in CT, they're giving $15,000 and $20,000 sign-on bonuses. Over in X-ray, they're paying $70 an hour on a weekend. So if I'm working my day shift 3 days a week, 3/12s during the weekend, I go grab a couple weekends out of the next 3 months. How much extra money could I have made in those two or one 12-hour? Say you take one 12-hour shift on a Saturday. Just one 12-hour shift on a Saturday. You don't even have to work full time. You don't even have to take that sign-on bonus. But I want you to look for jobs like this in medical imaging that allow you, with those multiple certifications, if you're in diagnostic X-ray and you just graduated radiology school in 2025, I want you to look at these sites like the ASRT Job Bank, Indeed, ZipRecruiter, these different sites, LinkedIn, and I want you to search for the ones that are looking for people with a sign-on bonus, okay? Once you see that, I want you to, if it's something you would do, I'm just gonna throw out something. Just send an application, and then when they contact you back, let them know you were actually only interested in PRN. What is their PRN rate, or give them your rate, or let them know if they're hard up for people like that and they're willing to pay a sign-on bonus. I can promise you they will be willing to pay you as a PRN. Find out, because some places have like a $10 extra on top of your hourly rate to work PRN on the weekends or in the evening. And you can be able to say, instead of make $50 an hour, make $60 an hour in a 12-hour shift if you work 3/12s. And just do that once or twice a month. Imagine the extra money you could, it's not overtime. Imagine the extra money you could make just 2 days out of the month, making double what you'd make, because it's adding that $10 on plus the shift diff plus the regular salary. If you're not making it at your regular full-time job, which most likely you're not, because full-time does not pay more than PRN in most cases. It shouldn't. So this is why I tell you to be strategic when looking for jobs, especially you new graduates out of Radiology Technology School in 2025. So we're going to go over to LinkedIn, because I want you all to see LinkedIn. How many of you are on LinkedIn? Let me know that. How many of you are on LinkedIn? Because when I did a speaking gig, a lot of people were not on LinkedIn. So let's see. Let's go to the job boards in LinkedIn. And we're going to search some jobs here. I'm going to look for radiologic technologist. There we go. We're looking in the United States. Okay, so here we are. We've got some here. Some are labeled X-ray technologists. That's the other thing. You want to make sure you pay attention to. If they label something technician, I'm just going to tell you, I would not apply to it. I would not apply to it. So here's the X-ray technologist in Brookhaven, Georgia. Here's one in... Oh, wow. Okay, so this one is at American Health Imaging. Look at this. This is in the Atlanta area, cross-training program and sign-on bonus. So they're hiring for radiologic technologists, and they're going to give you the option for a sign-on bonus. Now, I have never worked for them, so this is not an ad or anything like that. I have never worked for them, but what I'm going to say is, it says sign-on bonus offered for several positions. Some exclusions may apply. Read the fine print, y'all. I did a whole video on that. Read the fine print. Some of these companies are very notorious for preying on new graduates who see, woo, sign-on bonus, and they never pay you, or they have stipulations in there where you don't get paid. Do you want to cross-train? They're also not praying, but they're using this opportunity to use all of the modalities they have to cross-train, which I feel like many companies should have been doing this. You would have retained more people. Instead, they were fearful if we train them, they're going to leave. That's not the way to leave, I don't think. You should reward people by helping them to grow in the profession. These are some of the qualifications, what's expected of you, the benefits. Again, this is one of the largest larger imaging centers. They have X-ray, ultrasound, CT, MR. But I would just say don't get wooed in by the cross training program and sign on bonus. Be very strategic with it and be careful with it because everything is not what it's cracked up to be. So we got some in Missouri. We've got different ones. So these are all different jobs that I feel like LinkedIn can offer you really good insight into the profession. Not all jobs on LinkedIn are actual jobs. I will say that some are just kind of filler jobs to grab your information, and recruiters reach out to you to kind of see what interest is out there. And I definitely encourage you, get on these platforms, learn how to search as a new, hey everybody, I'm sorry, I'm just seeing a chat on my phone. It's not down there very clearly. As a new graduate out of a radiology technology program, it's important that you understand how to look for jobs and also not be scared to move away from the place you went to school at, because I just feel like you don't have to not get a job where you work. When I got out of radiology school, my first job was at a place that I went to school at. They were willing to cross-train me. They were so supportive of me. They put me on the right path in this profession. So that's a good thing when you have a good place that loves you as a student and wants to see you succeed as a technologist and a new graduate. Keep your foot in there. Keep that job if they offer you one and you want it. But the other part of that is don't just stay there. You can do a PRN on the side too. I definitely encourage you to grab a PRN. That means you just maybe work one day a month. And that gives you insight into how other places work. It makes you a more well-rounded technologist. It helps you to deal better with politics and office things that are going to happen. And patients are different depending on what facility you go to. The patients that you're used to for the last 2 years at the school you've been in are going to be totally different at that PRN job that you choose somewhere else. The staff is going to treat you differently. They're going to see you not as the student that came through and they remember when you first took your first chest x-ray. They're going to see you as the person that makes their own decisions. They're going to even ask you for your opinion. They're going to support you, not take over, not treat you like the little 12-year-old, like your family treats you when you're 22 and they still treat you like a 12-year-old. They're going to help you to get that confidence and independence because they don't know you as the student, and that is going to work in your favor. So I hope this was helpful. I hope this was something that you guys found beneficial. Let me know in the comments, please, if you want more of me going through jobs, more detail going through jobs, really pulling out how to go through Indeed, looking at jobs, looking at the qualifications. I really enjoy doing that. And really thinking outside the box when it comes to careers. Be sure to check out the podcast, and thank you guys for your support on this live. I will be going live at least once or twice a week. But I just want to know, do you want me to do more of these or Q&A? I'm going to do probably a mix of both, but I want to know from you all. Thank you and have a great day. And before I go, please check out one of these videos that may pop up here and continue to follow along.